As journalists, all of us know there are many ways to tell any given story. Since I work at National Geographic, let me tell you my story through visuals. This picture is a great example of the power of visual storytelling. Without a word, we understand the backstory here, both that I'm the first woman at the helm of National Geographic and that this institution, like so many institutions, is changing before our eyes. I like this image so much it hangs in my office. Sometimes I view it with a sense of wonder. I can hardly believe my good fortune. Sometimes it makes me a little depressed. How could it have taken 126 years to find a woman for the job? And sometimes it just makes me laugh, because as they say on Sesame Street, one of these things is not like the others. My story is simple and very lucky, as my career unfolded during massive changes in how we can tell stories and reach larger and more diverse audiences than ever, and at a time of growing opportunities for women. I was the intern they hired at the Seattle Post-Intelligencer before I graduated college. That's where I started my reporting career, and I got to cover some amazing things. A few years later, I went to Detroit and became the first woman the Detroit Free Press sent to cover the governor and legislature in 1984. I went to San Jose as a young editor and was the city editor when the Loma Prieta earthquake happened in 1989. The staff of the San Jose Mercury News won the Pulitzer Prize for our coverage. Then I went to USA Today, where I rose up through the ranks and met some interesting people along the way. 10 years later, I went back to San Jose as the first female managing editor, then the first female executive editor. Next, I became the first woman editor of the Plain Dealer in Cleveland, where we had all kinds of fun exposing the antics of corrupt county officials. I was the first female bureau chief of Bloomberg's Washington Bureau, where they obviously retouched photos. Then one day the phone rang. It was National Geographic. I became the editor-in-chief in 2014 and took on the additional role of editorial director the next year. I have loved all my jobs, but this one stands out for the range of work we can do about urgent issues around the globe, using every modern and traditional platform to reach hundreds of millions of people. We've been a finalist for the Pulitzer twice and have won 9 national magazine awards, all credit to my inspirational, multi-talented colleagues. So that's my story. But one of the things I'm proudest of is how we're working hard to tell stories that can change perceptions of other people's lives, especially when we do stories about groups that are underrepresented or marginalized, like women and people of color. You can see this clearly through our photography. National Geographic has gone from running photos like this, the first time a woman was the subject of a picture in the magazine in 1896, and this, where women were depicted mostly as exotic objects or smiley props, to photos taken by women, showing women in real life, grieving, angry, working, caring, succeeding, and ultimately as the warriors we know women to be. 40 years have passed since I was the intern they hired. It's been my privilege and responsibility to tell other people's stories. Being a journalist is the honor of my life.